Hello everyone and welcome into the Arizona Varsity Postgame Show. I'm Adam Beadle alongside Gridiron Arizona, also known as Chris Eaton. Desert Mountain gets it done 21-7 over Canyon View in what was really a defensive battle all night long. Desert Mountain had an 11-minute drive in the first quarter. They went back and forth the rest of the game. Desert Mountain was able to sneak out a couple of good scores thanks to some good field position. What are your overall thoughts of the game?
Overall, it was the old mantra of defense wins championships,
Yeah.
and Conrad Hamilton, a defensive master before he ever came to Desert Mountain during his time at Chaparral, winning championships, and he's conveyed that over to his team, and it showed in that second half. There was 7 consecutive drives that Canyon View had the ball and went 3 and out.
Yeah, and penalties, also a big issue for Desert Mountain. Even though they won the game, Conrad Hamilton said they had almost 20 penalties and couldn't believe. I've never seen a head coach so upset in a way about the way his team won a state championship. There were players coming around, they were dumping water on him, he was pissed off. What was it about this game that kind of just made it so back and forth?
Well, after the first long drive, Canyon View had their longest drive of the night. They went 9 plays. Unfortunately, they fumbled inside the 15-yard line. And after that, Canyon View never had a drive of more than 4 plays the rest of the night. So it was a matter of their pass game was getting shut down. Then late in the game in the third quarter, they lost their quarterback on a run up the middle. It looked like he may have suffered a concussion, and they replaced him there with the sophomore backup quarterback. They took some shots down the field, but I think maybe the secondary just had them covered really well. Ryan McDonough had 2 sacks for Desert Mountain. He was named the overall Fiesta Bowl MVP and voted on by the media the defensive MVP of the game. Easton Connor had himself a big game. I think I had him right around 100 yards. He had some good carries. He redeemed himself from a fumble on their very first touchdown where he fumbled into the end zone. And it was recovered by Whitener, a teammate of theirs, for a 7-0 lead. But he was tough to bring down. He'd get the ball, and I don't know if the refs didn't have the quick whistle with it, and they'd kind of let the play continue. And hit with the offensive line, he'd muscle out some extra yards continuously on it.
And talk about Ryan McDonough and his performance as well. Kind of flying over the field defensively. He was also on punt returns, and he was doing a pretty good job trying to get Desert Mountain as many yards as they could. Some of the penalties brought them back after those returns. But to see a guy like that fly around on defense, a guy who has contributed to this Desert Mountain team.
A
defensive back.
He's making a couple sacks.
Right,
yeah.
Who's contributed to this Desert Mountain team for a couple of years now, and obviously,
and an older brother
as they
that was
mentioned,
in the program too.
Brady McDonough, start getting it started. Ryan finishes it off. Desert Mountain now wins their first state championship
in their 30th season.
History.
Yeah.
Just how cool of that is a story to tell up to this point about this school.
Well, I mean, first championship is something that you never forget in school history. And for Desert Mountain, they'd lost their last 2 regular season games, and that caused them to be the 9 seed, and they had to play an extra game through all this. So at the end of the day, they will have played 15 games. No other team will play more than 14. The open teams will play 13 games. They went 15 consecutive weeks, no byes. They had some players, obviously, that they lost due to injury during the season and had to next man up with those guys. But for the most part, their skill position guys were healthy, and they don't have a lot of seniors. I think they only have 11 seniors on the team. And with no realignment next season, they're going to be among the teams in the 5A to be contended with again next year.
And talk about this Canyon View team. They have a lot of young guys as well that'll be going into the senior roles next season. But to see where this team got in Coach Alcantar's first year, how special is it?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, this was a team that was 3-7 last season. Coach Alcantar took over pretty early in the offseason, was able to build the culture with the team, and then they won games. I was at a game at Millennium where they won it with 11 seconds left, and that kind of started this whole run that they've had. They won their first playoff games in school history. They won 3 of them to get here. They hosted their first playoff game in history. They had a couple of them. So a huge deal. They won on the road last week at ALA Gilbert North to get to this championship game. I mean, certainly at the beginning of the season, nobody had Canyon View in the semifinals or even in the top 10. I don't think on the weekly media polls that we do.
It says a lot about how a lot of the teams in the state have surprised us this season throughout the course of the year. Setting this aside and kind of I don't want to look too premature into the future, but what are the chances that we could be seeing these two teams maybe in this position once again next season with how much they have returning?
Well, they're going to have a new quarterback over there at Canyon View because Brady Scott's a senior, and he threw for a lot of yards this season, a lot of touchdowns. But if the coaches stay there, you know, that they have that offense that they Coach Baker that he ran at Paradise Honors, where they like to throw the ball quite a bit. You know, they may have a guy that they can, you know, get it going again. Certainly Desert Edge is going to be a team to contend with in the 5A. They were the big favorite this season. They're going to return their quarterback, so they're probably going to go into next year the favorite in the 5A. The Desert View team that made a run that went undefeated during the regular season, they bring back a lot of guys, including Jaylee Abraham. So they're going to be a team to be contended with. So yeah, I wouldn't automatically put these two in there once again. There's going to be some parts that need to be replaced, but certainly teams that are not only on the rise, but obviously already here.
Absolutely. Final score here from Mountain America Stadium, home of the Sun Devils. Desert Mountain 21, Canyon View 7. Desert Mountain wins its first state championship in school history in their 30th season. For Adam Beadle, Chris Eaton here. We will be here throughout the week, and so stay tuned to Arizona Varsity for updates on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you find Arizona Varsity. We'll be here. Good night.
All right.